I just wanted to take some time to look at different sights, to be honest, for a recurve. Basically this was the original one that came with my SF sight, but I had trouble sort of seeing it. I mean, I used it for a long time, for a couple of years actually, before I sort of decided to try something different. And these are just a few of the different ones that I've tried here. This one here is a very cheap one. It sort of reminds me of the Shibuya one really. This was about £2 or £3 to be honest. It's circular with a dot in there. It's got a slight bit of fibre to it, but it's not catching a lot of light, to be honest. But it's a great replacement if you, cheap replacement if you ever want to have another sight. The other one that I'm going to review a bit more in detail today is this one from Decut. And this one was quite cheap as well, to be honest. This was about £10 for this one. You've got a full fibre piece in there, and you do actually get a spare piece, well, actually 2 more spare pieces in the box, and some different aperture pieces as well, depending on how big you actually want the hole to be. I mean, I've tried this out. This is a very good sight for the money, for £10. This is a 1mm fibre piece. They do make it in actually smaller ones, like 1/2 mm and 1/4 mm. But I went for the largest one, and even now for me it's quite tiny. I found I couldn't really see it that well on a standard kind of 60cm Portsmouth kind of target, but it worked very well for a Worcester target, which obviously has a white centre. It worked very well on there, as it's got like an orangey fibre. I just don't know if it worked that well against the yellow backdrop of a centre of a target. The one I've actually fixed in place, I have a 4th one that I actually use most of the time, and we're going to have a look at that in a moment. So of the 4 I've got here, actually I've got another one in my hand. This one is the Decut Tawant. This was a Cartel cheap sight, the circular one, and this one was a square one off my SF sight, carbon sight. And the one I've actually ended up using the most at the moment is this Spigarelli Light Pin. Not too much to say about it really. It's got a clear kind of outer housing block, and a nice big fat kind of pin, so some kind of centre really to it. The only downside to this I can see is it's very fragile. In the centre it's got some very thin, you won't see them in this video I don't think, but it's got very thin kind of catgut pieces in it, going 4, one going that way, one going that way, holding it together. So if you've got to be really careful when you put it away kind of, and you pack it away, because you'd never get them glued back in again, to be honest. You'd have to throw it away or just use the actual inner circle and not the dot. But that's one of my favourites for indoor at the moment, to be honest. Haven't tried any of these outdoors yet, but what I think is I may end up moving to the Decut for outdoors, basically because I think it's going to catch a lot of light with that long sort of fibre optic in there, and I also think it's going to work quite nicely outdoors, mainly from the light point of view and because of the distance, and with a smaller centre kind of working quite nicely. Plus you can change the kind of the aperture part to it, to what you see. So that's the 4 kind of sight pins that I've actually gone through and tried, and I say the Spigarelli Light Pin is my kind of favourite at the moment, but I'll probably update this video once I've actually gone outside and tried them both outside in the future. So just to, as I've still got the packaging here, and the Decut one comes with a few bits and bobs. I think I showed you the extra aperture earlier. There's 2 sizes, there's one already in there, the smaller one is in there already, and the larger one is in the box. And then you get some extra spare nuts, a couple of fibre pins, and some other plastic grommets in there.